Hello friends, hope you are all fine and doing well. We are into the discussion of this book called What I Talk About When I Talk About Running by Haruki Murakami. We are into the discussion of chapter 5 of this book and this is the third video on this chapter. I have shared the links of all the previous videos related to this book in the description below. The title of this chapter 5 is Even If I Had a Long Ponytail Back Then. Next, Murakami says that a lot of people in Japan seems to hold the view that writing a novel is an unhealthy activity, that novelists are somehow degenerate and have to live hazardous life in order to write. There is a widely held view that by living an unhealthy lifestyle, a writer can remove himself from the profane world and attain a kind of purity that has artistic value. The idea has taken shape over a long period of time. Movies and TV dramas perpetuate this stereotypical, or to put a positive spin on it, legendary figure of the artist. Now, keeping in mind what Murakami is saying, there is a popular belief among people that creative field or people involved in creative field indulge in unhealthy lifestyle. He says that this is a widely held view among public that one has to have an unhealthy lifestyle in order to be in the creative field. But this is not true, that in order to excel in any creative field, one has to lead an unhealthy lifestyle. Any creative work, like writing or filmmaking, also requires a lot of hard work, a lot of discipline, and therefore this perception in the minds of public is not accurate. For example, if we see the life of filmmaker Satyajit Ray, he used to make one film every year till the time he died, from the time he started making films. He had been so prolific, writing books, writing novels, making films, music. He was such a busy man, and he had a very healthy lifestyle too. So, one needs discipline to come up with something of artistic value. Next, now Murakami contradicts himself by saying that he agrees that writing novel is unhealthy type of a work. In his words he says, when we set off to write a novel, when we use writing to create a story, like it or not, a kind of toxin that lies deep down in all humanity rises to the surface. All writers have to come face to face with this toxin and aware of the danger involved. Discover a way to deal with it, because otherwise no creative activity in the real sense can take place. Now, Murakami is trying to explain the process of creative field with a very deep philosophy. At one place he says that it's not necessary to live an unhealthy life to bring out something of artistic value. And now he is saying that writing activity is an unhealthy activity. One must understand that even though it looks like a contradictory, but he is talking about two different things. What he is trying to say is the process involved in creative work. It's deep, but when writers are creating or writing something, they have to become a part of their story, their characters, in order to produce something of artistic value. Let me explain this with an example. If a writer is writing about a character, say a negative character or a grey character, then as a writer, he may have to think from the perspective of that grey character. A good example is this famous Russian writer Dostoevsky. In his novels, characterization is of a level so profound that it transcends reality. You must have read Dostoevsky's novel Crime and Punishment. It's a psychological work where a character called Raskolnikov kills an elderly pawnbroker, convincing himself that it is a moral act, and then follows the twists and turns of Raskolnikov's emotions, his struggle with his conscience. Dostoevsky is regarded as one of the greatest psychologists in the history of literature. He really gets into the skin of his characters, imagining their state of mind. So if he is writing about a criminal, then he writes all what a criminal can think. This is what Murakami is trying to explain as to how and why writing is unhealthy. In a sense, that a writer may go in extreme in their imagination while writing, and therefore it's necessary for writers and creative people to build a shield to save themselves from this toxin. Murakami further says that he runs and keeps himself fit, as running is his shield to save himself from this toxin. So here we complete this video. And to summarize, in this video we have heard about a popular belief that many think that people involved in creative field live an unhealthy life. So the key message of this video is that it's not necessary for creative people to live an unhealthy life in order to produce something of artistic value. And second, every creative person must have a shield to protect himself from going into extreme. Like for Murakami, it's running. So everyone must identify their own shield. We will stop here, and in the next video, we will try to complete this chapter 5. Thank you.